So what's an appraisal addendum and why should you care? Let's talk about it. Hey, it's Michael, top producing real estate agent turned real estate broker, trainer, and coach. And on this channel, I help real estate agents build their business so they can create more time and money. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button right down there below and whack the bell so you can be notified of future content. And also, while you're at it, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Thanks. Okay, so let's talk about the appraisal addendum. Now, the addendum is actually called Addendum Concerning the Right to Terminate Due to Lenders Appraisal. Okay, so what's happening in the market right now, right? The market's on fire. It's crazy. Buyers are in bidding wars, never ending, right? And they're willing to pay $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 over asking price just to get a seller to accept their offer. So here's the problem. A buyer agrees to pay $20,000 over asking price and the seller accepts their offer. They order their inspections, they go through the repair process, they make it through the option period. Now 2 or 3 weeks have gone by, the seller's packing, they're doing all the things that they're trying to do to get ready to close on their new home. And what happens 1 week before closing, everything comes to a screeching halt. Yes, everything comes to a screeching halt because the appraisal comes in. And guess what? It's $20,000 less than contract sales price. But here's the deal. The buyer says, hey, Mr. Seller, we'll still buy your house. All you have to do is lower your price $20,000 down to the appraised value. Then, you sold it for appraised value. We're buying it for appraised value. What's fair is fair. Now, wait a minute. The seller says, hold on here. You agreed to pay $20,000 over our contract list price, so we would accept your offer. We think you should pay the difference. Now, the buyer and seller are in a renegotiation. The seller's thinking, well, do I try to split the difference with the buyer? Or do I lower my price $20,000 so I can stay on track with my new closing? Because, I've got everything packed up. I'm about ready to close on a new house. So the seller decides to renegotiate with the buyer, but the buyer and the seller can't come to an agreement. And maybe the buyer doesn't want to come up to $20,000. They don't even want to come up $10,000 and split it. Or maybe they can't. Maybe they don't have the funds to do so. The issue is right here. The buyer can hold the seller hostage all the way up till 3 days prior to closing before they make a decision on whether should they terminate or should they pay the difference and close. Meanwhile, you're stuck, not able to sell your house. Then you got to put your house back in the market and start the process all over. So what's the solution? This nightmare could have been avoided if we would have just used the addendum concerning the right to terminate due to lender's appraisal. So let's talk about that addendum. Here is the addendum concerning right to terminate due to lender's appraisal. Okay, as you can see on the addendum, there are 3 options. If option 1 is checked, the buyers are making a full waiver of their right to terminate due to lender's appraisal. This is probably the best for sellers, but rarely are we going to see this checked by the buyer. Every now and again, you will get a buyer that will do a full waiver. If option 2 is checked, the buyers are making a partial waiver, meaning the buyer waives the right to terminate the contract under paragraph 2B of the third-party financing addendum if, number 1, the property approval is not obtained because of the opinion of value does not satisfy lender's underwriting requirements, and number 2, the opinion of value is blank or more. So let me show you an example. Let's say the list price is $350,000, but you agreed to sell it for $375,000. Now, the buyer says, listen, I would love to still buy this house, but what if the appraisal goes too low? So they're saying, I'm only going to agree to pay $10,000 over what the appraised value is. So what you would do is you would take the sold price, the contract sales price of $375, how much the buyer is willing to put up over the appraised value, and then, so you go $375 minus $10,000 equals $365,000. That is the number that goes in that blank. Let's look at number 3. If option 3 is checked, the buyer is asking for an additional right to terminate. So in the first blank is the number of days the buyer has to terminate the contract after the effective date of the contract. So as a buyer, you should put enough time to finish the option period and have an appraisal completed and add a few extra days for decision time. Probably going to be between 14 and 21 days. I would always check with the lender first to see how many days they need to get the appraisal done. Now the next blank in number 3 is exactly like the blank in number 2. You would take the sales price and subtract the amount the buyers are willing to pay in cash at closing over the appraised amount, and that's the number that goes in that blank. In the previous case, it was $365,000. Option number 3 is probably the best solution for most buyers and sellers. First of all, the buyer can limit the amount of exposure they have to pay over the appraised value. And second, the benefit to the seller is if it appraises for much less than that amount and the buyer and the seller have to start renegotiating, the buyer's limited as to how many days they have the right to terminate or close the transaction. So anyways, I hope you guys got some value out of that. Remember, if you're going to do a contract, you're concerned about the appraisal, always use the addendum concerning the right to terminate due to lender's appraisal. It's a great form. You could solve a lot of headaches for your buyers and sellers and keep them nightmares from happening. Hey, if you're looking to buy or sell any real estate, click on Show More below. I'll put a link in there back to our office. I've got over 90 agents that are professional, well-trained, super excited, highly motivated, and they're also COVID safety certified. So give us a call, click that link, and if you're a real estate agent that's looking to take your business to the next level, if you'd like to learn more, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell and give me a thumbs up as well. If you'd like to schedule some time, I put some links down there. We've got a lot of great tools for you. Have a great day, and remember, you're great where you are. You're just too good to stay there. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.